Reaperman here with a quick comparison of various different handhelds that'll play Game Boy Advance games and their relative screen brightnesses. You're probably here for the star of the show. This is the current IPS V2 mod, which at the time of recording is the latest and greatest way to play Game Boy Advance games. It's probably blowing the camera out pretty good, and that's so we can see some of the light down here on these lower end frontlight models. Anyway, the thumbnail pretty much tells the whole story on this one, but feel free to stick around if you want to hear an old man ramble. So this down here, this is the Game Boy Advance SP AGS 101 model. This is the first lit screen that we ever got on a Game Boy Advance. Before then, we were using screens that were exactly this bright right here. Now this screen is actually a front light, so it kind of washes out the colors a little bit when it's in use. However, the front light system is actually still fairly good outside, which a lot of the backlit screens tend not to be as good outside. Since I know I'll be getting some questions, it's sitting here in a Gamester grip, which is a triple cartridge grip with a slider to select between them. Anyway, after the Game Boy Advance SP came out, very shortly afterwards we got something called an Afterburner front light mod kit. And that's what this system is using here. This is the same front light technology that's in the Game Boy Advance SP. It's just in the more comfortable form factor of the original Game Boy Advance. And I used this for many years. This was my main Game Boy, and up until this generation here came out. Now this generation came out, if I recall, ever so slightly after the original Nintendo DS did. Now these both have backlit screens, fairly bright. This one of course is much larger on the Game Boy Advance SP AGS 101. However, there's a little bit of a problem with motion, and once you see it you can't quite unsee it, and the more motion that's going on, like if there's full screen motion going on, it becomes much more obvious. So because of that, I never really used these all that much and really switched to using these Game Boy Micros here for the longest time. Then eventually I got my eyes lasered and was no longer able to hold this close enough to my face. Anyway, these guys both have different backlit light levels. It's much easier to demo this one here. It's only got 2. So it's got a lower light one for at nighttime. Now again, this is the IPS V2 Game Boy Advance. It also has different backlight levels. It will go much dimmer than the rest of these. Let me just drop it down to its lowest brightness level. So it is actually suitable in the dark as well. And this back here, this is a DS Lite system, and this is another common way that people play Game Boy Advance games. In fact, a lot of people will rip the top screen off and just treat it like I guess a Game Boy macro, they call it. Anyway, that's pretty much the video here. The thumbnail probably told the whole story. Feel free to subscribe if you want to hear some old guy ramble on about things that probably only 3 or 4 people actually care about.